Hello everyone. Welcome to another stream. How's everyone doing? Happy weekend. It's super windy here in Stockholm, as you can see. They're like the curtains are just moving crazily. How's everyone doing? Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm gonna quickly switch to the other screen. So this is what we had yesterday when we were working on implementing the AI part. So we're gonna continue from here, and we'll see then where this lands. Hopefully we are going to be able to finish the assistant. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah Saak from Astana. Ooh. Is that in India or where is it? I'm sorry, I'm a total noob when it comes to maps. I'm very, very bad with Google Maps or maps in general. So if you ask me for any particular place, I'm most likely not going to be able to answer at all. But this is what we were working on yesterday. So who wrote the Angular Cookbook? And when we send this, we do get back the results. We're going to improve the UI quite a lot. Is it Kazakhstan? Ooh, I would love to visit Kazakhstan sometime soon, hopefully. Interesting. This should have retrieved my name, but it did not. That's super interesting. Let's try to see. Is it not Ahsan? It's sad that the AI cannot detect it. That's interesting. Kazakhstan is, by the way, in the ninth largest country in terms of area. Yes. I mean, I've seen Kazakhstan at least on the map. But if you ask me, what's on the left of Kazakhstan, what's on the right, what's on top, I would probably not be able to do it. Okay, so one of the things that I need to fix is this. You can see that we do generate it twice for some weird reason. I want to see why do we do that. So we'll fix that, and then what we are going to do. So let me tell you what we're going to do today. We're going to improve the UI that we see right here. We're going to make it much more intuitive. Then we are also going to deploy the Python backend, and then we are also we'll also finalize this and then make this one the current deployed version. So right now it looks like this. We're changing it from being this to being this. So it's gonna change to this. And then we have some examples that we have right here for the CDK, blah, blah, blah. And then we'll also enable the chat as well. So we'll also add the chat as well. That's what we are going to do today. But what have you been working on? Have you worked on anything interesting or any cool projects? I'm gonna also come back in just a second. I forgot to change the t-shirts. I'm gonna be back. Alrighty, back. Kazakhstan has a border with Russia, and then China, pretty longer border too. Interesting, very interesting. What kind of projects are you working on these days? Are you working on anything interesting? Have you worked on anything with web or mobile recently? What do you work on? And also, are you a coffee person or are you a tea person? What do you have in your country or at your home? Is it coffee or tea? In the meantime, I'm going to also try to look into this as well. So we do run this loop, and I can see that we do have this div that has about 4 messages. So this, 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 right? But now I don't see it. Where did that go? I think it does it when we send something. Who is Ahsan? So if I send this, it brings the results. Tejasvi, hey, how's it going? Sack says with AI, primarily with LLMs. Interesting. Are you using Python for your work, or what do you do? Okay, so this is the last one that is being shown here, right? Rounded LG inline block. Let's have a look at why that is. And before that, we do have a lot of other messages. So this is the last one that has an MT2, and then you see also then we have these buttons for further questions. But I want to see where's the last one coming from. So we're gonna have a look. That's not the one. This one. Both tea and coffee are popular here. Tejasvi, are you a coffee person or are you a tea person? I don't think coffee is as popular in Pakistan, but people who are watching it can confirm and prove me wrong. At least from where I am, I haven't seen coffee being really prominent. It's mostly tea, but I have not seen coffee for that matter. Okay, suggested questions. So in this particular case, what we do here is we should have a loop running, and I think this is still using the old ng-for, right? So we do get the message role if it's from user or from the assistant. If it's the last one, we should have the button, but only on the last one. But then here, if it's streaming message, then streaming message. Okay, so this is the streaming message. I think that's what we see, the streaming message. Can we also add a class here? We are also going to say an ID just to identify it, streaming message. So let's save this. We're gonna try to see if that's the thing that we are looking at, and then we'll fix it. So let's go to our UI. It is reloading now. is super slow. And I can hear my super slow because everything that we have right now is actually running in the VS Code dev container. So it is expected to be a bit slow. Okay, so let's open this. Who is Ahsan? So if I run this, let's see what we get back. I'm gonna open it. Okay, so this is the message that we get back. This is the streaming one. And this is the last message that you see right here. So what we want to do is not to show this after we have gotten it. So here you can see the streaming message, right? So what we should do is something, why do I keep opening VS Code? So here we have the streaming message that comes in, right? And this is the streaming message. So it says streaming message plus equals to content, right? Then we get the messages right here, and then we scroll to bottom. So in this one, I think we should be able to identify when the message is done, what to do with that. So we're going to fix that. Zach says milk tea. Okay, interesting. Coffee has been gaining huge popularity recently. Interesting. Yeah, when I came to Sweden, that was the first change. That I switched to coffee pretty soon, but not. I couldn't have coffee without milk at all because I'm from Pakistan, and that part of the world was ruled by the Great Britain. Yeah, and then we inherited a lot of things from there. Good. So I want to see what happens when we actually, because I also generated some of the code from AI, and this is the part where you need to be a programmer to actually build something that is useful. So let's go here. I'm gonna go to the chat service, and let's try to do this. So we are gonna go, and in the chat service, we're gonna look at the next, and just to understand what we are sending back. So here we have this suggested questions, event sources, right? And we are also parsing chunks here as well. And then we have add assistant message. So we finally send a new message in that particular case. So let's have a look. So if I try to now go ahead and say, I want to also reduce this, the height of this thing. So maybe do a max height of 300 pixel, overflow auto, just so I can actually use this. So if I go here and say, where does Ahsan live? So if I do this, now we have messages. The messages should now have a new message, which is my question that we just got here. It does scroll to bottom, which makes sense. And now it has sent the API call. So in my case, now we have the parsed chunk. We have data, and the type is content. So we don't have anything at all. So then it should pass this to the streaming message subject. I think we should also just avoid any of these lines. So it says line, okay. Line.trim equals 0, because here we don't have an empty line, but we do have something that is like 0, colon, and then something. So we should even trim these as well. I'm gonna take a note of this so I don't remember, or I don't lose the sight of it. So if I go here, then we have if trim. Otherwise, we should also have a line here, and then we have this thing here. So when we go to parse chunk, this place, it's here, right? So if this starts with 0, then it replaces it, and then we have something here. So in this particular case, if the parsed chunk dot data is empty, then we should also say continue. So here we should have if parsed chunk dot data dot trim, then we also continue. So we don't end up parsing things that are not really that don't have data, so to say. So let's try this again. Am I simulating something here? Slow 4G, that's why it's super slow. My bad. So we do this, but we would also have to now do this thing again. Which one was it that I did focus on? I think this is the one. So max height, let's do it in the code. So where is this? Here, I'm just gonna put it temporarily here, but we can fix it later. So we should say overflow y auto, and then max height 300 pixel. Or we can say something like 60 view height, just to keep it in the view. So if I do this, we should put these inside now. Okay, hit play. Okay, so this is what we have, right? So if I say who is Ahsan, let's see what is the flow. What does the flow look like? So send. So we got the messages first. It's gonna add it here, and then we're waiting for the API call. Then it comes back, and now it came here. Where did this come from? So chat service from an error. Parse data.trim is not a function. We should have add a new one here, and then here, and then when we get the data, await handle streaming response. Actually this. Okay, so we're gonna try to do this again. Sorry, an error occurred. Good. So we do something like regenerate. Let's see. So we're also testing this as well. So who is Ahsan is going it again. Then get value, blah blah, add some message there. And now it comes with this. So we got the reader here. So it's gonna handle streaming response. And now it's gonna try to work with each line that we get from the chunk. So we hit play, we come here, we get the decoded value, and this is what we've got so far, right? But we get almost everything in one go. Anyways, so we got the parse chunk here. So we got the parse chunk here, and then we got data, and then we should have trim. Continue. But I think there's probably something which does not have data. So if we do parse chunk, so we got data. Oh, so this time the data is an object, and that's also something weird. So here we can, because when we do parse chunk, then I think we should, okay, so we should actually get back in that case chat service. When we do parse chunk in here, Sack says, sorry, I have to mute you, got some stuff to accomplish. For sure, no problem at all. I encourage that and appreciate it. So parse chunk does that. We have 0, then we send back this thing. So in the case of 0, it does Raja Rafe wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. It sends back a string. If it starts with 8, it then does JSON.parse. That makes sense to me, which means that it could be a string, it could be an object. So what I can do here is that if I have line dot, or actually parse data dot trim, then we'll continue, otherwise we'll not. And I'll improve the code later on. I don't want to do it right now. So we open this, remove the breakpoints from there, play, and now I can ask who is Ahsan. So here it goes with this, and now we wait for the response. Bro, kaise hain aap? Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you? Then let's go inside, fetches the whole lines. So we have an array of this many things. Then if we have a look at this, so we have a lot of lines, and the parse chunk now has data with empty string, right? So it goes here and then just continues from there. This is good. So it doesn't break there. Then it goes and brings a parse. Now it has title. So it would go forward from here, but will not break. Now it's gonna look at what is this type. So if it's event, does it say events or event? Ooh, so it doesn't do anything with this one. Retrieving context for the query. Who is Ahsan? Okay, but we don't really do anything with that. So if I hit play, then this time we have events, and now we should have content. So in this case, we have this one. So it's gonna start streaming it one by one. And do we have any sort of, okay, we don't have anything as such. So then what I'll do is I'll continue to then do streaming.next. So now we got MUH. Now we get the content from here. Then we got this guy content. The data is Muhammad. So then it's going to do that as well. Okay, so here we should actually start seeing that, but I think it wouldn't do that. It would probably start doing that in a batch. So we have the content, then we have data. So it's going to continue doing that. I want to see the lines, and I also want to see the last one. So citation, and then here we have sources. Excuse me. I think once we have the sources completed, then I think we should just end it, if that makes sense. Or when this goes out of this, which is actually when we send the assistant message, I think that's when we should say streaming message should be null, right? So now it's going to come here. I'm going to remove breakpoints from here. Now, once we are done, we are sending messages. I'm going to remove there as well. And then suggested questions as well. So we got all 3 questions, right? So all of that is done now. So we got all of this is streamed. Now we see if there's an assistant message, then we add that. But I also want to do something that says data finish or streaming finished. So what we can do here is we can also send the streaming message. So this is streaming questions subject, and then we have events. The events are currently just logged. That makes sense. When we do add assistant message, it says message subject or messages subject in which we add that, right? That makes sense. So what we can do here is we can say when it has done it, assistant message thingy, then we can quickly go ahead and say, regardless of this, we can say this dot streaming messages sub dot next. And here we just send maybe something like streaming done. Or do we have to send a message as well? So we have parse chunk. Sorry, streaming message subject dot next. And here we can say action streaming done. So just building something quick. So if we go to our chat model component and we see that we have streaming messages coming in, and here if we say if content is this, then we do streaming message 0, otherwise we change this to adding a content. In this case, now we should not have duplicate messages as we had before. So let's try this out. So I'm going to open this. I'm going to say who is Ahsan. Good. So we don't have the extra message that we had before now. Good. This is what we wanted. But one of the things that I don't really understand is we do get a readable stream, but it feels like until we get the response, we don't really show that. which is a bit weird to me. Let me show you what I mean. Where does Ahsan live? And I'm going to simulate it a bit slow 4G. So what would happen in this case is when we try to hit send, I think it would first wait for the entire call to happen and then it will show the data, which is not what we want. I want the data to come as it is being streamed, so to say. So if I hit send, now this is pending and now I have the data. Since I have the data, then since I have the data, I basically show that, but it's not what I want. So, but I think we are good. We're fine. So, do you know any other details about Ahsan that might help me find out where he lives? Are you looking for some information about a specific Ahsan? What other question do you have? Okay, let's also try to say how many chapters are there in the book. Interesting. So we have using NGX. Can you show the table of contents of the Angular Cookbook? Okay, so we got chapter 3, chapter 5. Chapter 5 is here. Interesting. Good. Now I want to see how is it rendered in the React or Next.js application. So let's try to see that. So we have the chat messages here. If we go there, we do have chat message is here. It's pending. We have chat actions. It should be in the chat message, I think. So chat message content is this one. Okay. Annotations dot length. Interesting. So we do have the chat message content right here. Okay, so the chat content here, how it is implemented, essentially shows, a bunch of things, to be honest. But what I'm more interested in is the stream that's coming in. So let's have a look. So when we try to say, when we try to say send a message, we send a message just like this. Then we have all of our subjects right here with messages, streaming message subject, all of those things, right? When we do streaming message subject, we try to do handle streaming response and we pass it the reader. So we do response.body.getReader. But shouldn't we already start with the... Okay, when we do get reader, we get the readable stream, right? Let's have a look at it a tutorial because I think it's pretty slow. So example. Mm-hmm. Okay. And fetch, not tech fetch. But we are still doing response.body.getReader. But this is what we are doing already. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do this. Mm. I want to see if this issue is closed now. Excellent. Looking forward to this. Mm-hmm. So we do get a URL with fetch, then we have to wait for it, then we should get response or headers or get content length. Okay, then we should get reader, and then we process that. Mm-hmm. But this is what I was looking at as well. So when we have the stream, we can do await chunks of chunks, and then we can process those as well. Exiting the loop will also cancel the stream, so it cannot no longer be used to continue the stream after exiting the loop. Interesting. Okay, in this particular example, we are fetching, then we get the response body, then we get the reader out of it, then we do a new readable stream. Okay. And then we get the value out of it. Hmm. 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 Yeah, I think if we can't really use that or improve on top of it, there's no use, to be honest. So we can live with what we have. That's fine. So let's improve this. One of the things that I also want to do is the data that we have as in incoming. I think we could try to see what happens when we use the what do you call it? The inner HTML instead of all of this. So if I go here and chat model component, and in here we're trying to put everything streaming message here, but then we have the messages which are right here. So we have message of messages, and then where we show the message content, it's right here. Or do we have it anywhere else as well? Okay, so message.content. So here we can also go ahead and say inner HTML message.content. Let's save this. Let's try this again. I'm gonna make it no throttling, and let's try to get this working. So we say, does the book have signals? And we can see if that comes in. Okay. From the backend, I think we should remove the citation. So we do have React Markdown here, and the content that we are getting here as well looks like Markdown itself as well. Markdown.tsx. So we have Markdown, we have code block, which can be rendered as well. We have chat tools here. Chat sources, that's suggested questions. Then we should have chat events. Not going to look into those. Chat agent events. Okay. Interesting. So here we are actually passing this in the markdown. Okay, let's have a look. I'm going to copy this and let's go to our let's see if we can move to our NG Cookbook site. And here I can type maybe for rendering the message content as markdown. How can we replicate the functionality from React as follows? So let's see if it understands this process. So we will have to install ngx markdown and cortex in this case. And then we would have to create markdown module for root. Then we would have to create a markdown component that should look something like this. Then we will use that, and then we'll also add ktex as well. Okay, let's try that. So let's run this. But then we could be able to, I think, use this in the app config rather. Or actually, let's try this. So we apply this guy. Oh, but is it creating an app module for us? That's not something we want. Control N. Nope. So we need to go and say, because we're using markdown service, right? So markdown service. So we're going to create a markdown component. Let's create that. I want to see where this is creating it. Path to source data. What is the source data in this case? If I look at the source data, so if I go up and then one up, source data, where does this come from? Aha, okay. So we got source node, and then we have all of these types as well. So we got source data, which is source node. Source node has nothing of that sort. So we can also use that right here. And we can remove this guy. And let's import this guy. And we should also have the microservice.compile. Doesn't exist there. Okay, we'll fix that in just a bit. But did I miss anything from previous chats? 54 years ago? What? Okay, let's see. So we are importing the DOM sanitizer. This does process content, sends in a string. When we do this, it returns safe HTML. So this should actually be safe HTML. And we do have compile. So the markdown service, which is here, it doesn't have a compile function. So ngx, let's have a look at ngx markdown service. ngx markdown. I think the function name might have been changed from what cursor knows. So where is it? So we do provide markdown from ngx markdown. So first of all, this is what I was looking for. So we go into our ngx or our app config ts, go to the top. Then we go and provide the markdown. Let's quickly do that. So we're gonna go into here and then provide it just like this. Then how to scale AI apps. When talking about scaling, you will have to look into the where you're deploying it. So it depends on where you are trying to deploy it. So for example, Google allows you to scale it pretty nicely. They're also there are also potential. Sorry, there are also potential scaling opportunities for AWS and other Azure platform and the others as well. As of NJ, sanitization is enabled by default. Use Angular DOM sanitizer to security can be changed using sanitize. Okay, good. So do I have to do anything else from here? I don't think so. So do we have any errors still? So markdown service.compile. Compile. We don't have that method. So service. So when we are using the service, we have parse, not compile. So maybe cursor doesn't know that yet. And then we pass it content. The content that we get when you call the parse method, you can pass a markdown that is a string. Content here is of type promise string. What are you talking about? What content here is string, right? Content is a string. So when you send it to parse, quick fix. What is it trying to do? So parse content is parsed. Interesting. So when you do parse content, it may return a promise or it may be a string. Aha, that's why. So if it's a string, it just assigns it. Otherwise, it's going to do then. Okay, that makes sense. So now that we have this app markdown component, I think we can just use it. So we can say in our chat module, where we're using message content, we can actually remove this. C, and here we can use, yeah, app markdown content, app content. And here we can also add markdown component, and we can also, we can also import that as well. It's not a standalone component. Is that so? So we should have it as, oops, standalone true, and imports common module as well. Okay, let's run npm start and see if everything works. How much delay do you have right now? What do you mean delay? Is it, do you mean the delay from seeing the messages or something else? I don't understand the question. Let's also move this a bit above as well. Streaming, no, I don't think there's any delay, especially on YouTube. I think it's very less. But I'm also coding and then looking at the messages as well, so that might be taking a bit long. What are the chapters of Angular Cookbook? So I want to see if the markdown is correctly rendered this time. No, it's not. It should have been a bit different, or it's probably that we are not saving anything here. But we should be getting some errors, right? If things don't work out, then we know why. So are there any recipes for Angular animations? Let's see. It's taking some time to send a message in the chat. That could be from YouTube itself, but that. Okay, so this does do it in some cases as well. But we also have \n as well. Let's see if I can talk to cursor about this. The data being processed from the readable stream gets outputted as, notice the \n. We need to handle them so they don't appear and are shown correctly on new lines in Markdown. I also want to confirm that I'm actually in fact seeing Markdown. So this is app Markdown, which is good, but I think I'm missing the CSS or something. So we'll see. We should be using preserve white space in this case. So So let's first try that, and then we'll look into other things as well. So I got you, Sam. No problem at all. Preserve. No, it's not here actually. I think it's gonna be inside here. So, but in here we are actually using the app markdown. We should be probably just use the sanitized content that we have in here, and this should be ngx markdown, and then we should also be able to import markdown module here. Or actually we don't really need it because we are using provided in, right? So if we look at, but we are now using the, no, I think this is correct because we are using the markdown service at the end. If you look at this here, so sanitized content essentially does that. So we got this dot sanitized content, and then that is being rendered here, which makes sense. Rajat says, hi bro, are you doing only front end? Are you doing model fine tuning? I'm not doing fine tuning. I'm using retrieval augmented generation, and I forgot to charge my other battery, which is super. So you won't see my face for a while now. But yeah, what I'm doing is called RAG. So I'm using the retrieval augmented generation, and I am using LlamaIndex for this. So if you look at the backend code, which is not this one, we have the data or the book here in our data folder, and we have a Python backend which uses Fast API and provides us the routes that we need for working with it. So if I go here, we had chat.py, and here we have the request that essentially tries to read the message and uses right now OpenAI, but we are going to use Gemini instead. So yeah, ideally what it's doing is it doesn't use this one, but it uses the local engine, and I'm not a Python expert myself, so I don't think I understand all of it, but I do understand that we are using the vector store from LlamaIndex to actually work with everything here. And then we have events here, and we should also have generate. Yeah, this is the one. So in here we are using, I think, yeah, this is the vector store index that we are using. And we're generating all the embeddings right here, and we save them into the storage folder, the storage dir. Yeah, this one. Is this specific to business use case? Yes, I am working on this for my particular Angular Cookbook. So if I ask it any questions related to the Angular Cookbook, it answers that pretty nicely. So we do get the parsing here. Then we have decode HTML, inline, emoji, ktext, mermaid options, marked options. So when we use TypeScript background language, markdown async, interesting. So we could use directly with the pipes as well. Interesting. Okay. Do I need to install or mark anything for the CSS? So when we start with this, we install all of this actually. I'm not really sure if we have installed all of them. So I'm going to do that again because I did it via cursor, and I'm not sure if that is 100% compliant. So I'm going to add that. I don't want to show any code in my in my chatbot, so I'm not going to use that. Then we also don't need all of this as well. Line number plugins, don't need those. Line highlight plugin, no need as well. That's also not what I want. Emoji support, I don't think so. I'm not going to use those. Math rendering, not really. KTeX, nope. Diagrams, no, to be honest, because I want to keep things simple. But maybe clipboard. No, I'm not going to use that. Configuration, NGX Markdown, provide Markdown. I think we don't need to make it more complex than it needs to be honest. So we're gonna, let's see if we can find the options for this. So if I go with this particular function, I want to see what are the options I can provide. So we have decoded HTML, inline, emoji, marked options. We have hooks, marked options extends this, render, tokenizer, extensions, walk tokens. No, I don't think we need that, to be honest. Disable sanitizer, not really. So decode HTML, I think yes. And inline, true as well. Let's pass those. Decode HTML, true, inline, true. And I also want to look into inline as well. Okay, let's try this out now. So we're gonna say, what are the contents of the book? So when it's trying to do it, when it tries to do it, it uses the streaming service for that. A streaming component for that. We're gonna fix that. And then we are also going to remove, so here you can see that it renders it. So we're gonna fix that. Let's ask the AI as well, but I also want to then change the chat model component. So app markdown is there. I also want to use the same thing for when we are streaming. So we can actually remove this guy and this guy and this guy, and we can here say streaming message, something like this. Okay, so let's see. To handle the n characters in your content, so they are currently displayed, you can modify the process content. So let's apply this, replace the n in particular this case. Yeah, let's keep that. So let's try this out now. Have I saved my files? I think yes. Is my server running? No, it's not. So npm start. All right, let's see. I'm hopeful this time. Okay, so we're gonna ask, is the book suited for beginners or advanced Angular devs? Okay, so here it does get some information. I want to try this again. So what topics are covered related to performance optimization? Okay, but this is again, I want to say this is right now rendered as it is on the view, whereas we should see this formatted in Markdown. What should be changed? Accommodate it. So let's see if I can ask cursor to actually help out with this. So it says ensure the text is rendered correctly in Markdown and use the end characters are interpreted as line breaks or paragraph break. You need to modify the process content to replace and with appropriate Markdown format. Specifically, if you can replace 2 new lines with create a paragraph break, and then I don't think so, to be honest. But do we have any .css? I want to see which CSS does it ask us to apply. So Prism is specifically for the coding. Line numbers, Prism highlighted. No. No. For child, blah blah blah, markdown import, marked options. Hmm. But then shouldn't we be able to pass here as well? Something like, I don't know, preserve? White space? No. No options as such available here. So we got parse options, and that's it. Marked options, preserve, white space, or is it breaks true? What does that mean? And true, GFM. Let's see. Who wrote the book? Okay. What are the topics covered? In this case, is it because, so we have a div here, right? And then we got strong, right? But then when it comes to /n, it doesn't convert \n. So ngx, hi, because I forgot to charge my cam's battery, unfortunately. So that's why. How are you, Enes? I'm gonna try to see if one of the batteries work, but sadly I had the other one being charged, and then when I replaced it, I actually didn't see that I had put it outside. But I can try with the lesser one. So here you go. Hey. So ngx markdown \n. Okay, let's try to do that actually in the parsed ones. So here we do have content right here, I think we could just parse it there, but we are doing it right here, right? So process content is what we pass this, right? Replace and with markdown line break. So this is actually supposed to do exactly that. Content. But is it doing it at all? Because then I see the same thing for some weird reason. So what are the topics of the book? Now here you see it exactly the same thing. So I'm now confused. So chat.modal or chat modal component ts. So here we should be, or actually chat service. So here we should have parse content, or am I in the wrong place? Markdown component. So markdown component, and here we should be able to go here to do this, right? Regenerate. Remove this from here. This, no need. No need for this one. And now we have the content right here. So the content is like, what are the topics of the book? Okay, that makes sense. Handle streaming response. Now we're getting the chunks. I'm gonna actually move past this pretty quickly. So now we have this content, the books covered, aim at blah, blah, blah. And here you see like topics like /n/n1. So if I do this, I should be able to say, but here it did not really replace at all. But it did not replace it, right? Oh, I think it's because of this thing right here. So it should be //n, something like that. And then this, I think. Let's see. Here, topics of the book. So let's come with this. So we've got the topic of the book, then we hit play, then we wait for the response. And now we have content right here. So, okay. So now we have the content, which is this. So we do have contents N1, N1. Now if I go here, there we go. Now you see that this is updated. Woo! Let's go. This is what we wanted. Cool, cool, cool. Yes. So I think what we should do actually is this. Twice. So if we have two line breaks, we convert that to one. And now I'm gonna remove the breakpoints. So here, let's try this again. What are the topics of the book? So now everything is on the next line. This is what we wanted. Great. Are there more topics? Interesting. Okay, now I want to remove the citations. So anything related to citation needs to go away, and it's gonna be going in the API folder, or is it app API? Where is this file? Sorry, it should be backend. So we have citation prompt, which is in the system citation prompt, right? So we're going to remove the citation prompt completely. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go to the env in the backend, and I'm going to turn off the citation prompt. So here we have the citation prompt. The system prompt is you are a helpful assistant who helps user with their questions, but you have provided information from knowledge base. Each node has a useful metadata. We don't really need this, to be honest. So I'm gonna comment this out, and we have next questions. So we're gonna keep this like this. I'm gonna have to restart my backend, or do I need to? So let's restart the server, and in this particular time, we are going to see that there should not be any citations. So let's go to here, and let's try this again. So which chapter talks about performance optimizations? So chapter that specifically focuses on this. Okay, there we go. So now we don't have anything that's related to citations. So that's good. The other thing is we are also going to replace these single line breaks as well. So we should have something like in our front end code. I'm thinking now. Okay, then let's move from this one to this. So which chapter talks about performance? Good. Okay. Can you write the names of the chapters? Okay, so we got all of the names of the chapters right here. Very good. Okay. I think we are good with what we see here. We can just update the UI a bit, and I think we should be good to go. So I don't think I'm using Daisy. Am I? No, I'm not using it. So then let's quickly have a look at, then we can change the UI and then take it from there. So let's see if I need to change anything at all. First, I want to also make sure that we are able to build it. So npm run build. We're going to save the progress so far, and then we are going to move forward from here. I also want to say, can we change the second line to say if a \n isn't followed by a white space, then replace it. So let's see, because I also wanted to do for both of them. So we do have here, we have \n, but I also want to do something like actually \n, something like this, but then with a \n, and here I want to say content but something that is not, so we don't have this, and then we have something like this. Let's see. And this was able to build it. Okay. Once this is done, I think we can make the bot a bit nicer. And there goes my camera. I'm going to replace the battery, and let's try this again. And I'm also going to change the code for our routes, because I don't think that makes sense at the moment. So when we are at the home page, we want to go towards the landing page and then landing personal. Are we working on the landing personal at the moment? Oh, we are. So then let's actually make this landing personal. And we also have that. And then this one. What did I do? My screen went black. Okay, there we go. So landing component. Ooh, my server died. Ooh, why? It's failing. Window is not defined. What? Aha, okay. Then we should have been talking to the document object. So we need to say document, inject document. And then this one can be this document add event listener and this document remove event listener. Now we should be good. I thought I fixed it, to be honest. Maybe I did not. Okay, so go to home, or actually, sorry. Why is the page jumping so much? What happened? What just happened? Did I change a lot of things? Book hide directive, inject document. We just changed this, right? Let's change this back. That's weird. That is so weird. Okay, but we'll have a look. So now I should be able to. Okay, I have my styles. No problem. Okay, so then I should be able to do this. Let's go back. Click this. We're good. Let's try to change the height, etc. for this one. So we're gonna go and try to do this. I do want to commit first. Status. Oh, git status. Git add. Git commit. Feed. Chat. Work in progress. Chat modal. Added markdown. ngx markdown. Removed citation from backend, and then I can just say push, and this is already serving. Good. So for the suggestions, we do have the BG gray here for some weird reason. So I think for each suggestion we should have slate, but then something like a 700 or something. So it's a bit darker. The text should be white. So if I say something like, who is Ahsan? When it gives me suggestions, they are nice and dark. Okay, so these are the questions that I wanted to see. That's good. One of the things that I also see is that we are not really, for some reason, we are not really okay. I want to look at this again, and I want to look at the content first. So if I go to chat service, I want to look at this this part here. Sorry, this part here, chunk. So I'm gonna try to regenerate this, and then we'll see. Okay, so we have this, and now if I look at the chunk, so this is what we have. So we have just gotten this for now. I don't think we want this. Then we got here. Then we got more lines. Then we move forward. Come back again. And we add the message here, right? Now the answer is a bit different. Or is it the same? So let's cover this as well. The way we are handling the text has two issues. One, Unicode characters, and second, when there's a number, there's no space between that number and the previous word. See the example output shown on the UI. Okay, so we are sending this. Let's see how this is handled. When we do normalize Unicode characters, okay, interesting. Then we use this, and then if not followed by a white space. Okay, then I think this is good. So we can apply this. Y, save this, and let's try this question again. So who is Ahsan? Continue that. Continue this. Oh no, this is not good. Do you see what's happening? What's happened here? We have a bunch of issues. So For the Unicode characters, and also it messed up this guy as well. So it should have been \n, and we have \n. If not followed by white space, sorry, it shouldn't, it wasn't, it isn't supposed to be this, but it's supposed to be, it's not supposed to be this, it's supposed to be this, as far as I know. Let's see. Who is Ahsan? So we come here, we normalize. Nope, not at all. Okay, let's not do that. I'm gonna have a breakpoint at process content as well. So process content, that should be in here. So I want a breakpoint right here. So who is Ahsan? This one we don't really care about. Then comes the right content. So this is the one. I don't see the problem in this one at all. I do see there is some backend, oh sorry, some \n, for example, this one right here. And this should have been removed. So this should get removed by the end of it. But shouldn't we just send it back without processing citations, because we don't have any citations at all. So we can just send back return content, right? Let's try this again. Who is Ahsan? So here we have the same issue, 25,000. So this is the link as well. We don't want to process media or this. Process citations not required at the moment. So clearing all of that. Okay. NGX markdown slash um in HTML. We could go with decode URI component, but what I'm also concerned about is the numbers thingy. Okay, let's have a look. Regenerate. So we've got in content here, who's Ahsan. Then we've got in this right here. And we do a split of chunk. So when we do parse chunk, I think this is where it should come in. So we got the line here. But the process thingy, where is this coming from? Aha, that comes from the markdown. Okay, interesting. So then this does nothing, basically. The content, when it comes here, would have to have. So now when it comes, so here, you can see that we have 2023. But the problem is then not here. It's actually when we are passing the data or parsing the data. So let's try this again. Regenerate Ahsan. And then it comes here with the next one, I think. Right? Play. Now the chunk that came in should have these values. So author, blah, blah, blah. Go. No, but this, but how do, hmm. So here we have over, right? And then we also have an empty. Aha! Okay. But here then we should not use trim. Ah, my bad. If the data is empty, then we continue. Otherwise we don't. That's causing it. I think that would save me the issue of doing it myself. So let's see now. So let's try this again. If I save this, and did I do it in the right place? So that was chat modal, not really markdown component. And then we did normalize. No. There was the service, markdown service. No, not that one. the chat service. Chat service, and here we have this guy. We don't want the trim thing here, and this should make it. This should make it possible. Let's try now. Who is Ahsan? Hey, let's go. So we have 10 million with the space. And now we just have to fix this Unicode thingy. Okay. So we could also run this past the... when we get content, we can also pass this as decode URI component. Just so that we don't end up with the Unicode as well. So here, let's say, who is Ahsan? Let's see. Ooh, is it also already Maghrib time? I think there is still time. No, but we don't have... okay. How are we parsing this, which is in parsed chunk dot data? So we need to do a JSON.parse in that case. But this is not accurate. We should not be doing... But we are doing chunk.slice too. Why are we doing that? That's not accurate. But not all chunks would start with Unicode characters. No, I don't think I agree with the suggestion from the cursor. But then I also don't agree with this one as well. I think we were far better without this. Okay, so let's say list of all unicorns in India, it said, as a search. Okay. So the HTML has then this, right? But then we shouldn't we have something like /u? No? For example. Okay, interesting. But escape is, I think that's deprecated, right? Mm-hmm. 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 Then I would just copy this thing. Uh, mm-hmm. Let's see if I can fix this. So this should still be about here. So we got this guy. And let's quickly go to, where did we open that? Was it this one? Or maybe when we just add a new message via assistant. But then we are not supposed to actually send that as well. Thinking now. But the suggestion then, what this was saying is, uh, JSON.parse method if the data is in JSON format. Then could we go and say decode URI component? Let's see. Nope, I still see these. So let's see if I try to do this. Now here it does convert that, right? I think the issue is probably Markdown is converting that again. It could be. NGX Markdown don't encode. But then that means we should be looking at the KTEX stuff. Mm, no, not really. Mm, so we have KTEX delimiters in this case. Okay, interesting. Mm-hmm. 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 I think the markdown component re-encodes it, and we see therefore on the output. Let's see. Could it be that it's happening because of sanitization? I think. But we are using decode HTML, true. So if it's a string, we do the parse content, otherwise we do by parse security. But I think it's not able to do it because we have those space issues as well. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at, we need to debug this again, I think, because we need to see why when we try to parse it, why does this come with the chunk that doesn't have it? Now we have a chunk that has all of this. Okay, so this is the next chunk. There should be another one with the decoded stuff. So here you can see we have this thing here called this, but then this should have been converted into, if I do decode URI component, right? So I don't know, when it comes to this particular line, then at this point it has sorry, the chunk that we have right here. So we should have something like this right here, and we also want to see what this looks like. So right, so what we can do is, I think when it is string, it does parse content, but I want to say that it should be decode URI component and then this. Just do it here, to be honest. Parsed content. Let's see if this fixes it. And I also need to go and pray when this is time. Okay, I need to go. I'll be right back in 5 minutes. So be right back. And this should be 5 minutes. Ooh, I'm back, but my camera is not. Let's see. I should probably have just the other camera plugged in all the time, so I can switch those, or maybe just use that camera. I don't know. Okay, so let's continue. So we were looking at the Unicode stuff, right? So let's see. Go there, and let's try to say is Ahsan normalize. So now if the chunks come in with this, that's fine. Then if the chunks come with this, that's also good. I don't think we need to put something here. So now when the chunk comes here, and then we have those things here, we can quickly go ahead and see lines. And then here, when we have the assistant message, which should come here. Aha, but we are not doing it with the 0 1. Ah, okay. Then I should do it here as well. So that was in the chat model component. No, was in the service, chat service. Where are you? Chat service, and then when we have the parse chunk here, you should actually get it here, but decode URL component. Okay, so let's try this out now. Who is Ahsan? Generate ID. Never put a breakpoint there, but I get the answer. Did we still get those? We still got those. Why do we get these? Why do we get these? It's now becoming a bit of a problem. Okay, so now it did not do it. Look at this now. It did not do it this time. So we got CodewithAhsan right here. But on regenerate, why did it not do it the first time? Who is Ahsan? Okay, it does it this time. CodewithAhsan. Look at this. So we are let's go. Okay, good. How can I join the CodewithAhsan community? I absolutely love this. I do want to change the text of the links, because they are links, but they're not really shown as links. For example, this site here. So what we can do, I think here is in the renderer, we can change that. So let's try that. Render. So render is here. So we have this .markdown.render.heading, and this is the one. So we can actually do something here. Tokenizer renderer. So here we have renderer. Interesting. But we should have links as well, right? Space code, HTML, heading, HR list, item, paragraph, table cell, link. So we do have link here as well. So in our chat service, we are using the Markdown service, which should be somewhere. Or are we using it somewhere else? I think we're using that in the Markdown component. Here. So here we can do something like this. And in this case, we want to have not the heading, but the link. So this dot markdown service dot render dot link is something that I'm trying to get at. good title, and then it should also have target set to blank. What language am I on? Sweden. English. Okay, so here we have blank. And then I also want to have class here as well. And that should be text purple and then 700, something like this. So we at least have that there. Ooh, no. It's not what I wanted. I wanted to do this. Let's see. How can I join CodewithAhsan community? Okay, so here we go, right? So we got that class. We also can add more things as well. For example, underline. We can also say hover. Text purple, something darker. So 800. Let's try this again. How to join the community. So there we go. You can see the link here. So the color changes. It's a bit subtle, but it changes. If I look at the color here, we are using, no, not that. The color of this one. Is it purple 600 or indigo 600, right? So we go with indigo 600. And then we should also change this guy to indigo 700. Let's see if that works. How can I buy the book? Okay, so here we have it, right? It's very subtle, but I think it's gonna work still. Okay, good. I think we're off to a good start. What I'm gonna do now is to look into some UI components that make this a bit better. So for example, there was this thing called Lang UI. I'm not sure if you have seen this, but this is where we go into more front end ish thingy. So we do have some AI components that I can just copy paste. So we have prompt history panels. We have this here, we have this here. So we could actually have that working on this, or we could also use prompt suggestions, badges, copy to clipboard, cards, sidebars. So we have this right here. I don't want this to be too complicated. I want this to be like a modal. So toggle, alerts, nice. I want prompt suggestions, prompts message input. There were also like prompt questions as well, or no? So we have inputs here. The person could type. We could go with that, or this one, or we could just type here as well. Something important, and we could hit enter, and we would get that. But I want to have maybe this, and even before that, we want to have prompt containers. So what I want is something like this. Rounded, round and round and round and round. Rounded with prompt suggestions. I think I'm gonna go with this one. So let's quickly go to code. We're gonna copy this guy and let's go it from there. So we should have, I'm gonna close all of this, close this guy. Let's go with chat modal component. Hey Kareshuno, how's it going? So then what I can do is we have this chat container class. I'm gonna start with a new div here. And I'm gonna comment out the other one. So and I'm gonna comment out this guy. Just so we can at least see what we are doing. So if I click this, we are provided with this nice little input that we can look at. So I'm gonna try to fix this a bit because it doesn't look as nice as I want it to be. So we do have somewhere bg slate 200. I don't know why, so I'm gonna remove this guy. And please make this video in Urdu. I cannot, I'm streaming and this is not a tutorial. But if you have any question, you can ask and I can respond in Urdu. But did I mess up the component or what happened? What happened? Which next user is coming in Urdu and Hindi? Which one do you want? In Urdu or Hindi? Am I doing any network logs here? No. Create. I think all of these are just extensions trying to pull up everything. Nope. Come back. Isn't that the home component which I'm routes.ts, right? So we had the landing component. Didn't I just change that? How did? This is a bit weird that cursor does it because I remember changing things, but then, okay, no, maybe I don't remember changing things then. So this is this one. Then I should go to landing. And there we are. Okay. So now I can click this. Now this is what we had. Let's have a look at why do we have this white background and where this is coming from. So this is the one. We had the overlay, and I think we are probably doing it on the overlay, right? Yeah, here. So you can see the overlay background color. So what we can do in this case is on the CDK overlay, we can add another class and we can say something like chat overlay and then take it from there. But again, which tutorial do you want in Urdu? Let me know in the chat and let me know in the chat and I can follow up. So we had overlay, should be in here, here, and then we have open chat model. So when we do this, we actually end up, actually, let's try to just remove this one so we can have our own background. So I'm going to remove this. And then we have the chat model right here, which can have a BG slate. So when we open it now, so we do have that, but I also want a whole BG or BG slate 200. Okay, so we have that here. I'm not really sure about this now. So if I do P8, we would have a white outline and then inside everything. So like something like this. Giggle Chip says, I written in Urdu and Hindi are different, but we understand both languages in speaking. Yes, that's true. Any one which industry demand or required. Nothing is required. Try to see what interests you more and then follow that. That would be my recommendation. There are opportunities for almost everything out there. So if you, even if you are learning PHP, you have opportunities for it. So I would say look into what makes you excited and then try to learn that as fast as possible. So we have this chat container. We're gonna go and put this guy here, I think. Yeah. Then we have, what do we have? So we have class, text right, user, blah, blah, blah. We have things like that, but we can ignore those. Then we have the markdown content that we need to show. And we have we're gonna loop over those messages. Then finally, we have the regenerate button that we want to show. But let's do things one by one. And I'm gonna open the actual file instead of this view. So working tree close. And now I want to look at this. So we have this UI for now. We're going to change this a bit, but first let's try to use the send message to have a click handler here. So we're going to go to our button that says send. It should be right here. So submit, send message, or actually we could, now that we have a form, we could just put it here. So we can do submit, send message like this. Then we should also have the regenerate button. So we had something like, and we can also do key up. Oh, I don't think then now we need this, but we need to apply user input here. So on the text area here, we can do this. And then we also have the markdown that we need to put. And then we also have one for streaming message as well. So we're going to quickly put it here after these two. So we have flex, item start, close this guy, and then this, and then this, and then this. So what I want to do is after this, exactly this, and then this. So the first one that we saw here, it was sending from myself and then having the response from the other side, right? So that means this is the one that I'm sending and the other one comes from the other side. So I'm going to cut these and then I can go with the loop. So here we can say for message of messages, track message ID. And then here we can render both of them. Oops, what happened? Right, so this, but I want to do this in an interesting way. So this is going to be if the message role is user, then we render this guy, else we render, oops, did I miss something? Else we render this guy. Okay, so Unique Tools says awesome, cool. So then what we want to do is we want to have the message content being rendered as well. So let's copy this. And then we also have like suggested questions to render as well. So we'll render those as well. But in here, we have this image, and here we can render it. And then on the other side as well, we're going to render this as well. Oi, what happened? Copy this, paste it here. Okay, did I do it correctly? Yes, no, yes. Okay, I have no clue what I'm doing. So let's see. Okay, so this is the right one. I think I made a mistake. Let's see. I'm going to replace this. I'm going to replace this. Ah, okay. No, I think I did it right. We have 2 more of those. So these ones can go away, right? I want to install Ollama and some other models related to medicines, healthcare in my laptop, and I will use it offline. Please make a video about it. Okay, I'll have a look for sure. Thank you. So here, if I say, who is Ahsan? Send it. Does it do it at all? Did it crash? Aha. So, okay. So then we need to send it here. And we also need to say ng model options. So ng model options and standalone true. So we're going to try this again now. Who is Ahsan? So this is my message sent, and I should be able to receive the other one from the other side. This is not what I wanted at all. You see how big it has grown? But we have at least some data. So what we are going to do now is to also increase this or make this of a fixed height, so to say. So we can say something like when the height should be SM, or max height SM. That should be one of the case. Then we have SM max height MD, then MD max, oh, not max height actually, max width, SM, then an MX auto, then MD max or SM max width, MD max width, XL, and that's it. We don't want to go above that. So we save this, we go here, but the width, I don't know, the minimum width also should be the minimum. But I think it should be fixed, to be honest, now that I think about it. I think it should be like 50%. So width should be 1 of 2. When we do this, it's going to be 50%, and we don't want width full. But when we do this, let's have a look. If I do this, it's like this is small. We don't want that. So we want to have the width set to 50 view width, something like this, and then MX auto. So let's have a look now. So this is what we have, right? If I try to tone it down, you're going to see that the width also becomes smaller. But I want to not have it the same way in mobile. So for mobile, it should be something like, let's say width is 80 view width. But when we go above MD, then it becomes a bit more. So when we are into super small screen, something like this, now this is 80% of the width, right? If I go above that, then it becomes, you see, this is where it changes. So now this becomes 50% of the width. What I also want to change is the fact that we have this padding. So I'm going to remove that. So if I open this now, we have this right here. And I don't know. I think I don't really want the background here. But when we have the backdrop, I also want that to have a bit of style. So here we have pane here. Let's see what this comes with. Or actually, where's the backdrop? So there we have the backdrop. So here we can also have a background color, and we can have RGB 0.5. So when we open this, we should have some sort of backdrop, I think. Let's have a look. So we do have the backdrop here. We have 0.0.3 here. Should be 5, so it's a bit darker. Now if you see this, this makes much more sense. The height, however, is not great. I think the height should be different. It should be like 80 view height. So if I open it now, this is what it has. And it also has to have my... okay. But we also have 0.05 for consistency. Chandler, hey, how's it going? So now we have it nicer. So we can here say, who is Ahsan? And you'll see the response now. What's weird is I don't like it. I think my kid came home. So I'm gonna try to meet him, and we'll probably stream later, but let's see how he reacts. So with the other one, where we have this else guy, we're gonna do the same thing, copy it. Assalamu alaikum. I have an idea for AI assistant that could disrupt industry. Sure, go ahead. Office. ब्लू ट्रेन से आ गए थे वापस. आपकी तबीयत कैसी है? मेरी तबीयत सही है. सही है, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह. सर्दी हो रही थी बाहर बहुत ज़्यादा. I missed you. अब गर्मी लग रही है. चलें यहाँ का उतार दें जाके वहाँ पे. वालेकुम अस्सलाम वरहमतुल्लाह. क्या हुआ? चलें एक काम करते हैं. 6:30 हो गए ना. बाबा स्ट्रीमिंग बंद कर देते हैं. बाबा आपके पास आ जाते हैं, ठीक है? फिर बाबा बाद में कंटिन्यू कर देंगे इसको, ठीक है? ऐसा कर लें. वो मिलेगा. Yes, can you help me? Where is Baba? Yes. Where is Baba? और जो वो देखो असलान भी आएंगे वहाँ पे. वो रे असलान, ये रे. वो रे असलान. Miss you. आओ. चलें? बाय बाय बोल देंगे. बाय बाय. Hey Dua, VCC Moyon. Hey Dua Aslan, VCC Moron. Bye bye. Aslan ko dawan hai. Acha chale. We will end the stream and then we'll do it. Alright everyone, thank you so much for joining today, and I'll see you next time. I'll try to finish this as soon as possible. I'm right now participating in one of the campaigns from Google. So I'm supposed to create a video for this tool that we just created and submit it or submit it as a submission tomorrow or by the end of tomorrow. So I'm gonna continue working on this. It might not be online, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Aslan bhi hai wahan pe. Chara dawa denge. Chalo. All right. Thank you. Take care. Have a good one. Bye. Bye बोल देंगे. Bye bye.